And I was able to learn a lot when I was subbing. Fellas, we got to do better about teaching our young boys to have good, healthy friendships with other young boys so they can help with life. Girls, they ain't got no problem. All them girls friends. All time. Here's what I realized. If a girl go in the restroom and she see another girl crying, she will immediately become her new best friend. She be like, girl, what you in here crying for? I caught my boyfriend cheating with Heather the cheerleader. You ain't got to go through this. Here's my Snapchat, my mama's Twitter, and my grandmama's Instagram. Girl, we gonna work this out, I promise. If a boy go in the restroom and he see another boy crying, he walk right back out. No, I'm good, I can hold it. I ain't got to go no more. I'm good.
I'm disappointed with the lack of originality when it comes to naming high school football teams, especially when it comes to animals. There are 1 trillion species on this planet. Only 9 are used for all sports. I can prove it right now. Go ahead and clap if your high school football team was the Eagles. There's some Eagles here, all right. How about bears? What are the bears? Wow. That guy thinks high school mattered. All right. How about lions? Do we have any lions here? There's a couple cowardly lions in the back. How about wildcats? Do we have any of those? Yeah? That's not even a thing. It's a lazy meeting. What are you gonna be? I don't know, some sort of wild cat? Yep, that's it. Sure. Meeting adjourned. I always do like to ask, so anybody here come from a high school that had a unique team name? So nothing that's ever been used in like professional sports, NFL, NBA, baseball. Just go ahead and, yeah, just don't tell it to me, just cheer. What's that? Buckaroos. The Buckaroos? Everyone cheering just sounds like a condescending dad. There you go, Buckaroo. Yeah. Even when you win, it can't feel good. Good job, Buckaroo. What else? What else do we have over here? What's that? The scars?
Dart.
Oh, the darts. She did the darts. Oh, okay, the pointy ones. All right, yeah. I thought you meant the car. That would be weirder. The darts. The darts. Okay, just a second. We're still talking about darts. What city are you from or state? What's that?
Kaysville, Utah.
Kaysville, Utah? Okay. All right. Is that like a thing there? That's number 1 on TripAdvisor for Kaysville. Dude, they have the best darts in Kaysville. Are you saying it? No, the pointy ones. What else do we have? What's that? Beat digger. That come from the cheap seats in the balcony, of course. That's how we earned our way here. Where are you from that you dig beats? What's that? Jordan High School? All right. That's here, right? This is going all over the world, so people aren't gonna know. Just like Jordan, that's just some guy. Jordan likes beats. I don't know. Over here, somebody raised their hand politely. What was yours? The russets? Okay. Some other guy just yelled his out. He's like, that's not interesting. Listen to mine. What's, okay. All right, russets are potatoes. Okay. Getting heckled by Wikipedia. Usually when I get heckled, someone's like, get off the stage. But you guys are like, here's some useful information. All right, potatoes. What else? What else do we have? The cavemen? All right, cool. Where are you from? American fork. All right. I don't know anything about that. Cavemen. What else?
Dons.
The Dons?
Spanish fork.
Spanish fork. I feel like everyone here knows something but me. I don't understand all these utensil cities. The criminals? Are you from Spanish Fork too? I'm just guessing. I'm glad it made sense to you guys. Anyone else not from here? No, maybe. Have a. Let's hear a couple of. What's that? Patriots. Cool. You weren't listening to my question. All right. I'm Chicago Fork, right there.
Syrup makers.
The syrup makers? The rest of you quiet down for a second. Are you just trying to help me out? Is that what this is?
I'm from Georgia, so.
You're from Georgia, of course. I love the syrup from Georgia. It's so matter of fact. I thought you were gonna be like, obviously, I'm from Canada. But it's like, no, Georgia. She's like, russets, yeah. I'm from Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Obviously. So the syrup makers?
Yeah, syrup makers.
Okay. What was your mascot? Just like a really bored guy? If I could name a high school team, it'd be the Chameleons. Wouldn't that be great? Every game, you just dress up like the other team.
It's a ridiculous year. My favorite day, though, this is the elementary school Super Bowl for the teachers. It's school picture day, by a mile. School picture day, greatest day ever. Because every kid shows up on school picture day like a train wreck. They dress as if bomb raid sirens are going off, and they barely escaped. They look like their mom kicked in their bedroom door that morning like, get out of bed and put this tiny sweater vest on! But I have to take a shower. There's no time for showers! Move, 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 move! Now run to school with this humongous envelope full of nothing but change. Like, what? Trust me, none of you in this room, none of you have ever looked at a little headshot you got at 8 years old from school and thought, Yup, nailed it. Oh, damn. I'm so glad I wore that Ninja Turtle sweatshirt that morning. Just covered in SpaghettiO stains. Hot look. Like a young Timberlake right there. That's... But here's who I blame for it after watching it happen. The photographer at the school. That person's a monster. Because they know where this ends for them. These kids, they know where it ends. They could stop it from happening. Last line of defense. They didn't even try. These evil human beings will just look at these train wrecks through a camera lens and just go, yes! I'm so glad you wore a turtleneck shirt. Those never go out of style. How'd you know that? Oh yeah, you tucked that shirt into your jeans. Right into the elastic band of that acid wash. You tuck that shirt in. Oh my God, do you have a rat tail haircut right now? You put that down the front. What are you, crazy? Chest out. Be proud of that furry little tail. That looks like you have a ferret riding shotgun in your life. Let's be honest, that's a rare look. We're gonna have my assistant put some colorful beads in that thing real quick. Because that's gonna complement the neon lasers we're gonna fire through the background of this picture. Oh yeah, your mom checked that box. Because she's awesome, all right? You know what, let's go big in this picture. Do this pose for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And a bonus feature for you, in the background of your picture, we're also gonna put another picture of you whimsically looking off into the distance for no reason. Like you're about to start singing in The Sound of Music. Ah.
I think we can agree as a group that generally speaking, a high school principal ought to be a smarter than average person. You know, mine wasn't. He was a nice guy. A lot of great attributes. Not the brightest bulb, you know. One day in assembly, he's trying to remember the phrase, hindsight is 20/20. You guys want to see how that played out? Okay. Well, y'all know the saying, hindsight. Hindsight, oh. Hindsight costs 50 cents. That's the best he could. What does that even mean? It sounds like a good deal on hindsight. Sign me up. He's not the principal anymore. Now he runs a successful chain of Hawaiian shaved ice stands. And I asked him how that was going. He said, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Piper. If I'd known how much money I'd make doing this, I wouldn't never been no principal. I said, well, you know what they say, hindsight costs 50 cents. Should have stocked up when you had the chance.
I played high school football here in the United States of America, and although you're not necessarily treated like a god, you definitely see yourself as one. And in our locker room, we had banners and signs and slogans everywhere, and one of them, a commonly known one, read, "Pain is temporary, pride is forever." And now, looking back, I can't help but think, yeah, pain is temporary, you know? What a good point. Well, unless, of course, it comes in the form of an anterior cruciate ligament tear that you suffer in your left knee after catching a pass going over the middle on 3rd and long to help seal the playoff victory and send your team into the semifinals for the California State Championship, a game you yourself wouldn't be able to play in any other football game ever again for the rest of your life. Pain isn't so temporary when that happens. It tends to stick around a little while. There's not a lot of pride when the season's over and 6 weeks into the cold, hard winter, after football is long faded from the minds of overzealous mothers, fathers, and school administrators who once sang your praises. You're still on crutches relearning how to walk. Nobody's kneeling before you when you're wrapped in a leg brace with a bloody, staple-infested bandage around your knee that requires you to cut off a pant leg of your overpriced rented tuxedo so that your parental-arranged prom date has pictures to show her new boyfriend next year at UCLA. Meanwhile, you're attending the local junior college throbbing in pain every time the temperature drops below 59 degrees. that's the kind of pride we're talking about, thanks, but I'll pass. All right, I'll be down the hall in drama, where the only pain will be watching all those wannabe actors battle it out over the role of Rum Tum Tugger in the school's misadaptation of the hit Broadway musical Cats. I'm so cold. Oh, hey, guys.
I was little. How many of you, by round of applause, how many of you guys played sports when you were younger, like in grade school? All right. The rest of you were smokers? Well, you know, I played. Of course I played. No grade school basketball teams complete without a tall, gangly, uncoordinated crybaby. No. Hey, Coach, it's me, Johnny. You want to put me in? No? Good eye, Coach. Good eye. I don't know how it worked at your school. At my school, you had to try out for the team you wanted to be on. You know, they had different levels of teams. Everybody wanted to be on the A team. A team had all the cool kids, all the star athletes, right? Then there was the B team. B team had a couple kids in wheelchairs, a bunch of blind kids, kid without a head. Yeah, he was blind too. I was on the C team. Yeah, our team name was Johnny and Phil. I wasn't even a starter.
I like being married, it's good. I was single for a long time. That gets tough. Dating's weird. I went on a date with the weirdest date was a woman who was older than me, and I knew her from high school. That was weird, because you remember high school, if you weren't the same grade, it was a big deal, you know? And when we met, I was a little ninth grader, and she was a cafeteria lady. And our first date, she cooked me dinner at her house. Sloppy Joes with tater tots, right? Yeah. And I knew she liked me when she gave me 2 chocolate milks, because you're only supposed to get one. I actually want to go back to my high school cafeteria, I really do. Just to, not for the food, just to, the efficiency was unbelievable, because I worked in restaurants at one point. My high school, they'd serve 400 kids in 3 minutes. The key, regardless of the food, they served everything with an ice cream scooper. Have your tray ready. There you go. What is it? Hot dog. What's this? Corn on a cone. I couldn't remember that corn in high school. It wasn't even yellow. It was like translucent gray. Right? You spill your corn on the floor, you couldn't even see it anymore. Where'd my corn go? There's my goulash. I lost my corn.
One time when I was a little kid, I got an F on my report card, and I changed it before I got home. I was stupid. I got caught. I should have just changed it to a B, but I changed it to an F+. Try to pull my average up a little bit. All I do is daydream in school. All I think, that's all I do is daydream. You know, sometimes a teacher will call your name after they've asked the question, and you got to stand there in the aisle, and you don't even know what the question was. Remember that? This actually happened in 8th grade. Mrs. Gabriel's like, Dennis, we're going to wait for your answer. That's up to you. My best friend, Mike Hand, he's sitting back here and he whispers, "It's Conestoga wagon." I don't think I'm gonna go with that. I think I'll stand here with nothing for a bit, you know. But she was on my case that day. We're gonna wait until you answer. That's your prerogative. I'm telling you, it's Conestoga wagon. So I get tired of standing there. I say, the answer is Conestoga wagon. The whole class starts laughing their butts off. I look down, we got math books open. Yeah, I'm not even on the right subject. That's how long I'd been out. Taking my pen apart and putting it back together. Playing with the spring. You know, sometimes the teachers would say this, they'd say, "There's no such thing as a stupid question." I liked it when they said, you know what I would do when they said that? I would raise my hand. Yes, Mrs. Baxter, is it possible for a 12-year-old boy to get pregnant from reading comic books? No? No? Oh, okay, I got some misinformation from my older brother. College was different, though, and the college professors, they never said there was no such thing as a stupid question. You know why? Because they knew better than that. You don't get to be a college professor and still hold the belief there's no such thing as a stupid question, you know? So in college, I needed a different strategy, a different tactic, because I didn't want to study or do the assignments or anything like that. So I'd come up with smart questions that would make me sound smart to the teachers, so when they were given the grades, they might think, hey. So I'd be like, yes, Professor, after perusing the copious reading assignments which you ungrudgingly designate as compulsory, it has become abundantly clear to me that the incipient, and might I say pandemic rise of quantitative easing in the post-holographic arena spawns a situation and, in fact, a conundrum in which the widespread growth of existential and even dystopian paradigms will threaten to dominate the landscape for the foreseeable future. Now, having said that, how would you therefore postulate a quid pro quo complexification from a nihilistic standpoint? And being broadly contemporaneous, would that postulation even be germane to the philosophical dogma of the period? And secondly, because this is really a two-part question. Didn't like math. Math was my least favorite subject. You like school? You in school? You're in school now? What's your name? Chanel. What are you studying? Nursing. Nursing? Yeah. I studied doctoring. What do they call it? Medicine? It was a lot. It's a lot. I dropped out after 2 years of high school.
You know what's on my mom's mantle? My high school yearbook picture. This is your best look, sweetie. No, it's not. Do you like your high school yearbook picture? I don't. Do you remember your high school yearbook picture? You sat down in the chair, you're ready to go, take the picture, but you always did that nervous quiver smile. Remember the nervous quiver smile? Don't do the quiver smile. Look normal this year. You got this, baby. Then the photographer moved you in that idiotic position. Now you look natural. What? It's not natural. It's not the way you'd sit down. Never saw a board meeting. Everyone have a seat, please. Bill, what are you doing? Negotiating. Sign the contract.
She believed in education. She made sure that we all went to school and got our education, because she always said, no one can take education from you. Once you get that knowledge in your head, knowledge is power. I believe that. Where are my educators? Any educators in the room tonight? Mm-hmm. What do you teach? History and English. What grades? 7th, 8th, 9th. 7th? Ooh, middle school. See, I substitute teached one day. Middle school. Junior high. This little boy was pushing my buttons. You ever get a kid that pushes your buttons? Always. See, I don't know how they know all the buttons to push. And he was pushing them all. He's running around, he's throwing stuff, he's pulling hair. At one point, he is standing on a desk, like that far from me, looking at me in defiance. I said, "Little boy, if you don't sit down, I'm gonna break your leg. I know you know better than that." He said, "You can't touch me." I said, "See, you know you need to be in school. You don't know the difference between can't and ain't supposed to." He said, "If you touch me, you'll lose your job." I said, "Yeah, you're probably right. I'll probably have to get a job as a garbage man, who, by the way, makes more than teachers." He said, "We'll be standing in front of that superintendent, me contemplating my new raise as a garbage man, and you on them crutches." You want to sit down or you want to limp? They didn't ask me back after that. My sister homeschools her kids. She's wicked smart. You know, I haven't taught in so long that now it's like if I tried to homeschool my kids, they'd be dumb as dirt. Count for me, Marky. 1, another 1, this one, that one, thumb. Bless his heart.
Well, dude? We call ourselves the greatest country in the world, modern day Roman Empire, but we got kids going through 12 years of school nowadays getting out, and they can't even read a book. That's pretty heavy. They used to make us read. They did. You guys remember a thing called the Weekly Reader? Book It Pizza, Reading Rainbow, highlights? Oh, man. You'd order all the Judy Blume books. Hey there, God, it's me, Margaret. Super fudge. There's like 8 readers in here that know what I'm talking about. The best part about the Weekly Reader, if you ordered 5 or more books, you get a free poster of 2 prairie dogs standing off on an anthill. Appreciate the readers for coming out to the show.
Gotta stay young, I gotta stay fit, I gotta stay mentally aware. I have a wonderful son, he's an amazing young kid. Not too long ago, had a big shock for me. I had to go school supply shopping for my son, with my son. And that game has changed dramatically from when I was a kid. There was 2 school supplies. 1, Trapper Keeper. Yeah, if you don't know what that is, it's a notebook with 85 pockets, 75 Velcros, a net. It was a Trapper Keeper and a compass. It wasn't a directional compass. It was a 2-pronged tool. On one end was a golf pencil. And on the other end was a razor-sharp ice pick. I was 5 years old. My mom's like, go to school. Is this my bus? Is this it? Huh? You in my class? Huh? You draw the perfect circle. I found my son talking to himself. He had a book report due, and I just hear talking in the other room. It's just him and I that live there, so I had to see us out loud talking, you know? And it turns out he's asking Google for all the answers to his book report questions. And I was trying to tell him, when I was a kid, if we had a book report, we had to go to this building. It's called the library. Using the card catalog and the Dewey Decimal System. And if you had a book report on JFK and you got there too late and all the books are gone on JFK, you know what happens? You get yourself a new president. Now you're stuck with Grover Cleveland. He was a president? At least I know where he's from.
Yeah, Paterson, New Jersey, man. Went to public school there and everything. Anybody else go to public school? In Paterson? Oh, no. Things were never that bad. See, y'all budget was a little different than ours, right? Y'all budget was like $8, $9 grand a student. Our budget was like 85 cents a student. That's like 2 quarters and a dime. You guys really did go to public school, didn't you? Look, this is how bad the budget was. Remember you would get your books, and you could tell who had the book before you by how many names was in the book? I'm looking at my math book going, Booker T. Washington. Frederick Douglass. How old is this math book? Public school made you tough, though, right? I don't know if these kids would last when we went to school, right? Getting bullied in cyberspace. I don't even know how that works. You gotta have computers that know how that works. Text bullying, I still don't understand it. How does that work? It's like, bzzz. Oh, no! He's gonna get me! At some point in the future. What am I gonna do? Delete it. Problem solved. Can you see the bully walk up on the kid? Hey, yo, you get my text. Nah, I sent it this morning. You still got the same number? Well, let me get your new number. We're gonna do this again tomorrow.
Teaching's crazy, man. Gotta break up fights all the time. Breaking up fights is rough, man. They don't train you to break up fights, you know? I remember one teacher at my school, she dislocated her shoulder trying to break up a fight. So during the teachers' meeting, you know, I asked the principal, I said, hey, how come we don't get any training on breaking up fights? You know what the principal said? Come on. Your teachers, use your instinct. Isn't that a weird thing to say? Because what if your instinct tells you to put $5 down on the big girl, right? Now he's all upset. I can't believe you only put $5 down on that girl. You know she's undefeated. Come on now. Very difficult job. Subs have it the worst, though, man. At my school, we used to run through subs. There was a sub at my school. She quit before she finished taking attendance. Took a cigarette break right in class. I don't even care no more. Took a cigarette break, left. Assistant principal goes in, grabs all the kids. They usually disperse them into different classrooms. They brought all the kids to my room. So, Mr. Baxter, can you watch the kids for the rest of the period? I said, fine. Bring them in. They come in my room. They only have one period. So I said, hey, guys, listen. We're going to do something fun. We're going to play Jeopardy. States and capitals, that's it. Nothing hard. It's going to be fun. The kids were like, this is whack. No. I was like, all right, listen. Whoever wins a bag of Snickers. Because I had a bag of Snickers in my desk for about 2 years. I was trying to get rid of anyway. They were like, yeah! So I split them up, boys against the girls, which you should never do. They get too competitive. You know, the boys was like, you know what I'm saying? We gonna win them Snickers, you know what I'm saying? Those is our Snickers, you know what I'm saying? Then the girls was like, oh, we gonna be on Instagram with these Snickers, hello, right? So we start playing this game. The most intense game I've ever seen in my life, Jeopardy. States and capitals, that's it. We're playing this game, kids are sweating. I've never seen that happen before. Sweating. 30 minutes into the game. Scores all tied up. It's 0-0, right? I'm confused because I let them use the books. I didn't understand. I look at the clock, the bell's about to ring. So I say, listen, I'm gonna ask them the easiest question in the world. What is the capital of Massachusetts? Because we're in Massachusetts. Before I can say, take your time. This girl jumps up, she goes, ooh, I know, it's the letter M, hello, give me them Snickers, right? What's the capital of Massachusetts? Hello. Give me them Snickers. Then she started high-fiving all the girls on her team. They're celebrating. And when I seen this, it almost made me laugh. You know what made me laugh? When I looked over at one of the boys, he was like, oh, man, I knew that one. Come on now. That was on the tip of my tongue.
But I started homeschooling, really, because I had a home. I've been to school. Sir, I've been to 4 colleges. I didn't graduate from any of them, but I'm not a quitter. So I'm still plugging along. And y'all, listen, I thought it was going to be a breeze until that first week. And we did math. Have you seen math lately? I don't know when it happened, but they changed it. All of it, ma'am. They didn't leave a part left. All of it's changed. And don't get me wrong, now I can do 3rd grade math, okay? Sally has 6 apples and Johnny has 4 apples. They put them together. How many do they have? There are homeschool moms in here, absolutely. 10 apples. But 7th grade was not the same. My oldest son had problems like if Sally has 4 apples and Johnny has 6 apples, and Johnny takes a bite off all his apples, and then Johnny takes a bite off all her apples, and then he puts all the apples together in a basket and gives that basket back to Sally. Sally takes that basket and gets on a train, traveling 100 miles an hour toward the sun. And then she gets hungry and eats one of the apples. Now what does she have? I'm like, that's easy. She's got mono. And that's why we don't eat after people, and that's what you need to be learning.
My daughter, I've talked to her today, man. Here's the thing: she loves math. She's very smart, much smarter than I. And math. If you're a parent, you know there's no more embarrassing thing when you have to sit your daughter down and say to her, "Honey, now that you're in 4th grade, Daddy can no longer help you with math. You got arrows and squiggly lines. You go on the Google. That's what that's for." I think English is probably always my most worst subject. Most worstest, excuse me. What am I, a Thorsaurus? Thank you for getting that, man. I've had people in the crowd go, why is he talking about dinosaurs all of a sudden? It's a very odd transition. I think the problem is there's too many words and too many rules, man. I remember being in school and the teacher said to me, Ken, we want you to spell knife. And I said, knife, N-I-F-E, knife. And she said, no, there's a K in there. I'm thinking, knife-ic? And she said, no, the K comes first. I said, so then it's knife. She goes, oh no, the K is silent. What's it doing in there then? Why don't we just spell everything with a K? Dog, K-D-O-G. It's silent, it ain't hurting nothing. These K's are so silent, I guess the proper pronunciation is an ucky fried chicken. Keeping with the silent K.
And when I was in school, I couldn't stand it, but as a parent, I absolutely love school. I love everything that ends in school. Public school, summer school, Sunday school. I just will never send my kids to homeschool, never. I ain't got time for that. I've become my dad because I got in an argument with a friend, you know. He's like, I like to take my kids to school instead of putting them on the bus. Why would you waste your own gas money? I mean, I know the bus isn't everybody's #1 choice. It's the substitute teacher of transportation. Bus spelled backwards is sub. But it gets the job done. And in my state, it comes to the house for free. It's like a free Uber. It's a little clunky and it's big, and when it pulls up, it sounds like a spaceship. It's like, shh. And the door's open, and I'm waving. I'm so happy because I get so much work done when they go off to school. So many Netflix series I get to finish watching. I love September when the buses start coming through the neighborhood. Every parent turns into a little kid who sees an ice cream truck. All the parents are standing outside. I hope he stops at my house. Because when a little kid sees an ice cream truck, he chases it. When a parent sees a school bus, he grabs a kid and he chases it. Please don't leave him. I know he only has one shoe. We'll send the rest of the clothes after gym class. Just take him now, please.
As a theater teacher, I have some weird errands to go run. I put on all the plays, and one year I needed a wedding dress. And I was like, great, I'll just go rent one at a bridal store. Easy. I walk in. Hi, I'm in need of a wedding dress. And the girl looks at me and I was like, oh, it's not for me. It's for a 14-year-old girl. Which did not make it better. Okay. Yeah. I love a lot of things about teaching, but there's one thing that I do hate, well, besides the children, and that is chaperoning a school dance. Oh, it's the worst. You just walk into this gym and it just smells like puberty and Axe body spray. And there's like an edible wall as you walk in. And I've categorized the boys into 3 groups. There's the boys that dance like this. Like the alligators at feeding time at the zoo, you know? Yeah. I call them the cool kids. And then there's the boys who do like the tap routine from Be Our Guest from the Spring Musical. It's like foot lap, shovel, step, ball, change. But to Katy Perry's Dark Horse, and it works. And you're like, I don't... Those are my feeder babies. Those are my children. And then there's the 3rd group of children. They play tag. Like, I don't know what's wrong with them. I would like to go in and help, but my chaperone duty's the hallway because I need that fresh air because I can't go in there, so I just let them suffer.
I was a head football coach and drama instructor at a high school in South Carolina for 10 years. Yeah, that did not work out. But it was a conservative Christian school in the Bible Belt in South Carolina. Like, what are you allowed to say to those kids at halftime when they're getting their butts kicked, huh? Like, you boys need to get back out there and turn the other cheek. It was a Protestant school, not a Catholic school, so they wouldn't let me run a Hail Mary. It's just... I had to run a Bless Billy Graham, was just not... I couldn't get my running back to fake a handoff because he's like, my dad said that's technically lying. I was like, well, you tell your dad that we are not going to make the playoffs, and he needs to be emotionally prepared for that. I used to teach my 11 players on the field to pray for the other team's injured player because I thought as a Christian school, if they brought the other injury card out to deal with the injured player, as a Christian school, we should show the other school that we were willing to pretend like we cared about them. Dear Lord, just lift up the other team's best running back to you and help him get all the way better, Lord. Help him get all the way better, Lord, tomorrow, because he is killing us off tackle, Jesus, and I believe it's your will that we win this one. And you said where 2 or more are gathered. And delusional parents at these private schools want to have a little meeting with Coach Simpson and explain to me that I'm showing favoritism and that I'm not playing their kid at wide receiver because I just don't like their kid personally. And I would tell all those rich private school parents the same thing. You're right. I don't like your son. No one at our school does. But that has nothing to do with it. I don't like the little twerp that is playing wide receiver, but guess what? He can catch. Why don't you come to practice every now and then and watch us bounce the ball off your kid's head so then you can understand what God's plan for your kid's life is. So maybe be in the band. I got nothing against the band. I was the high school drama instructor. I put on the school plays. I know that's an odd combination. I tell everybody every fall I just acted like the football coach. I wrote the school's fight song that the band played every time we scored, like 4 times a year. I'm just saying it might be God's plan for your kid's life for him to be in the band instead of on the team because he can't run very far without falling. He can't run very fast without coughing. He can't even snap his own helmet, but he can play the clarinet. The only reason your kid is on the team is because my school didn't let me cut players during tryouts. They said it's not biblically right to cut a player from tryouts if he's always tried his hardest, always had a good attitude, and always been on time with his $26,000 tuition payment. I'm quite certain, ma'am, it outlines for me in the Bible, the same Bible you're looking at, how all football coaches should react in a situation like this. And it's with love, peace, patience, joyfulness, kindness, gentleness, self-control, and all football coaches should be able to cut a kid from the team if it's as bad as your kid is. Just get out of my office. Just go. In peace and serve the Lord, because there are video cameras everywhere today. So I was fired from that job, is what I'm saying.
When you're not doing well in school, at least when I was younger, the teachers always gave you the same advice. Start your day off with a good breakfast. I guess they figured, look, you're still gonna be stupid, but at least you'll be full. I took the advice, anything could help. So I started my day off with a good breakfast. That day I was in a spelling bee, and the first word was fruit. I'm like, okay, I got this. F-R-O-O-T. No, thanks a lot, Fruit Loops. That's not how you spell that at all. Since my parents were both teachers, if I brought home a report card with an F on it, I got grounded. Luckily, I found a loophole. Past due library books. My librarian's like, look, if you don't bring your books back or pay your fine, you're not getting your report card. You promise? So I still got Huckleberry Finn. I was horrible at math, horrible at science, and I took physics. Didn't work out well at all. They have dumb questions in physics class. This was literally one of my test questions. If Johnny jumps off the Empire State Building with an initial velocity of 2.3 meters per second, what will his final velocity be just before impact? As my answer, I wrote, who cares, he's dead. Which I believe is the correct answer. Actually, up to 4th grade, I was number 1 in my class, but that's because I was homeschooled. A lot of misconceptions about homeschooling. I remember when I went to public school, all the kids were like, man, that would be awesome to be homeschooled. You could just sit around all day and watch TV. And I'm like, no, actually, it's a lot of work, like vacuuming. We used to have the homeschool word problems, like if a room is 20 foot by 14 foot, what's the square footage? And how long will it take to clean it? Show your work, start in the kitchen.
Even schools are different nowadays. They're taking stuff out of school we used to love back in the day. Y'all remember Dodgeball? Do you remember Dodgeball, baby? I'm trying to tell you, what was the best part about Dodgeball? Taking somebody's head off. If you got hit in the head with the ball, what'd you learn how to do next time? Duck is called life. Sometimes it hurts. You understand me? They still got dodgeball, but they use a foam ball. That ain't no dodgeball. That is foam ball. You get hit in the head with a foam ball, don't nothing happen. You understand me? Dodgeball is that red rubber ball. You hear me? You remember that red rubber ball, baby? Come on, man. Trying to tell you, put Wilson across somebody's forehead, that was extra points. Trying to tell you, man, just my son came home from school. He about 8, 9 years old. He came home from school seething. He was so mad. He was on the verge of tears. And my son never cried. I'm trying to tell you. So when he came home from school on the verge of tears, I knew something was wrong. He like, I said, what's wrong, man? What you crying for? What's wrong? What you bringing so hard for? Huh? What's wrong? He like, this little boy, daddy. This little boy, daddy. He keep picking on me all the time, daddy. He pick on me all the time. I said, did you tell the teacher? I told the teacher, daddy. I said, what the teacher say? The teacher didn't do nothing, daddy. She didn't do nothing. I said, son, you need to handle that little boy. Right? He's like, I can't. I'm like, what you mean you can't? He's like, there's a zero tolerance for fighting in school. I said, what? He said, there's a zero tolerance for fighting in school. I'm like, but son, you told the teacher didn't do anything. What you supposed to do? He says, Daddy, there's a zero tolerance. I said, son, what if the little boy is not following the zero tolerance rule, son? Come up to you, pow, hit you in your face. Tell Daddy what you gonna do about it. He says, Daddy, there's a zero tolerance. I said, let me tell you something, son. The school has its rules and Daddy has his rules. You understand me? And Daddy's rules beat school rules every time. You hear me? I said, let me tell you something. Don't you start nothing with nobody at that school. You hear me? But the minute somebody put their hands on you, son, you go straight to work. You understand me? Beat the brakes off of them. That's what you do. You understand me? And don't worry about it. I'm going to come up to the school and I'm going to talk to the principal and I'm going to have your back. And I'm going to tell the principal, I told my son not to start nothing with nobody in this school. But if anybody put their hands on him, for him to go straight to work. Now what he taught that kid is not to bother him. He'll bother everybody else in this school, but he won't be bothering him. And I know my son is suspended, and while he's suspended, I'm taking him to Six Flags. Come on, son, let's go.
So I asked my nephew, I said, why is there no school bus? It's the neighborhood I grew up in. We used to take a school bus every day. He goes, oh, last year one of the children got on the school bus and he had a peanut allergy. And someone on the bus had peanuts. And he had a reaction. And he almost died. He didn't. He's fine. But they said, it's too liable. All these kids have problems now. We're going to get sued. No more school buses. You believe that? That's the world we live in now. Little Noah can't have peanuts, you're all screwed. That's it. Sorry, everybody. Noah can't have peanuts. And they weren't even Noah's peanuts. There was someone else's peanuts. And the peanut dust wafted through the air and landed on Noah's face. And now the entire neighborhood has to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and drive their kids to and from school because Noah can't be within 18 miles of a peanut. Could you imagine? Can you imagine telling your father, Dad, I can't go to school today. I have a peanut allergy. My father would have made a peanut butter sandwich, stuck it on my face, and put me on that death trap of a school bus. We're lucky to be alive. There were no seat belts, kids running down the aisle of the bus going 45 miles an hour. Then he says, my nephew says the kid gets bullied. They bully the peanut kid. They bully him, and he doesn't like to go to school. I said, why do they bully him? He goes, they say that he's poor. I said, why do they say that? Because he has a flip phone. I was like, that does sound kind of poor. Is it? But that's how kids bully each other now. They can tell who's rich or poor by the device in their hand. Isn't that terrible? Like, they know. They want to have lunch with kids, got an iPhone 3. Like, you can have lunch with us, iPhone 3. Go play with your Kindle Fire.
And I gotta say, I don't miss some of the younger grade things that we all had to do, all those things. And there was always that one mother in my kids' classrooms every year, that one over-prepared birthday party planning, organic snack making, annoying mother. Y'all all know her. You all know her. If you don't know her, you are her, so look out. Had a Valentine's Day party and the teacher sent out an email that we were supposed to bring in snacks, and immediately those competitive mothers were like, oh, Hannah will bring hand-dipped strawberries and Joshua will bring homemade organic Chex Mix. I'm looking around my kitchen, I'm like, all right, Seabiscuit's gonna bring Funyuns and Bloody Mary mix. Okay. And then there was those events, like one event was called No Name Calling Week. And I was like, well, what stupid idiot came up with that? And then they had this thing called Turn Your TV Off Week. And I was like, no. It's so you can spend more quality time with your family. I was like, that's why we bought the television. And then one of those competitive mothers came over to me. She said, Karen, listen, you really should limit your children's screen time for their development. And I was like, hey, Joshua's mother, come here and let me tell you something. No one likes you. My kids and I are going to watch Hoarders together and feel good about our house.
Remember those tests they used to give you, those ones they go, if Bob
is half of Betty's age. And in 2 years, he'll be 2/3 Betty's age. They go, how do you find Bob's age? And I go up to him and I go, hey, Bob. So how old are you now? Teacher was asking around. How old's Betty gonna be in case it comes up at a later date? You remember that stuff? Then we go show your work. And then I draw a picture of me walking up to Bob. Hey. I hated school. My kid was asking me what an adverb is. I go, it's when you get a verb and then you add another one. So you get a verb like cat. And then you get another one like lack, you put it together, freaking Cadillac. Come on. Thank you. That's a compound adverb, right?
Yeah, I'm not a bright guy. I barely got through high school. I'm a 2.0 C student. I really am. And I know we have some teachers here. School's changed, I'll tell you that. I mean, really. I mean, you think you could forgo the social engineering for a couple of semesters and teach some basic math. Just basic. I'm not kidding you. My mother used to hold up flashcards when I was a kid at the dinner table. I would eat dinner and I'd see 9 and 5, 8 and 4, 7 and 3. You know, to this day, I don't want to brag. But I can see a couple numbers on a piece of paper, and whether I want to solve that problem or not, my brain just solves it. I'll see 8 and 5, my brain goes 13. Oh, I didn't even want to solve that. It's gotten to the point where I go to McDonald's now, if there's a young guy behind the counter, I wait for him to ring it up, I hand him some cash, and then I wait, and I go, oh, wait a minute, I just found 3 pennies. Yeah, I just step back and watch the show. They start using the new math. They came up with new math. Can these people leave anything alone? We went to the moon on the old math. Einstein did good with old math. What was the new math? Old math too mathy for the new people? It's awful mathy. Let's change that. You watch the Common Core? Have you seen this? I mean, well, let's see. The bill was $7.23. I'll make that 3 a 5. That 2 a 0. I'll make that 7 and 8. You gave me a 10. I'll make that an 11. Why not? An 11? Oh, but you gave me 3 pennies. Oh, gosh. Oh. Is there a homeschooled kid in this room? Somebody? How do they do it?
Yeah. You know, my mother saved my schoolwork from when I was in elementary school. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Isn't it amazing? Look at that penmanship. Cursive, ladies and gentlemen, cursive. Doesn't even exist anymore. Okay, this is 4th grade I wrote these. This first one is called If I Were My Mother. If I were my mother, I would hit my sister a lot. If I wanted to kiss her, I'd lick her. I have no idea what that means. Maybe I would throw both of my sisters out of the house. Boy, I wish I were my mother. I'd have so much fun. And the teacher writes B-. After reading that, not Kathy, have any problems at home? Would you like me to schedule a conference with your parents? Maybe you'd like to speak with me privately after class. No, just B-. Mrs. Abrams, horrible woman. She was a horrible woman. I remember when she used to sit behind her New York City Regulation Board of Education desk. She looked normal from the waist up, but then when she stood up, she had hips out to here. And we would have to hold onto our desks when she walked between the aisles because her hips would bang into our desks and throw us into the big windows and we would all die. True story.
Number one thing I miss about in-person teaching
eating the kids' snacks. Y'all didn't know that, did you? You didn't know that the teachers, we eat your kids' snacks. Your kids don't want that stuff. We like it, you know? And that's how come they can never find their lunchbox, because we hide them. Hello? Duh. You know? And it's that one that I love that y'all send so much. What's it called? Oh, the Lunchables. Yes, thank you so much. Listen, you take a Lunchable and you pair it with a nice, cold, sparkling apple cider, that thing become a charcuterie board. Honey, and you put some jazz music on, you at a festival. I love it. Thank you so much, parents. Oh, thank you. Yes. And I just want y'all to know that all my students passed. Yes, all of them passed. Primarily because I didn't feel like filling out the paperwork to leave them back. I mean, come on, y'all. They what, 3rd grade, 8 years old? They got like what, 9 more grades? Somebody will catch them. Your kid don't have to read with me necessarily. You see what I'm saying? Let's see what the 7th grade teacher can do, you know? Community, we work together, you know? Yeah. And I'm telling you this, the hardest part about teaching, y'all, the kids' names. Millennials getting way too creative, I'm telling you. First of all, I got a little boy in my room named Sapphire Moon. Exactly. And then he's gonna come up to me and say, oh, Miss Gaines, I don't have my homework because Mercury in retrograde. Why do you know that? You know what I mean? I was like, and tell your mama you need to stop burning all this sage in my classroom. I don't understand, you know, what all this means, okay? And then, check this out. I have another one in my classroom named Shan Dweller. Yes, and this is what millennials do. Because I can look at this audience tonight and tell you all your names are extinct, okay? None of y'all are repeats, all right? Shan Dweller, what they do is they take 3 syllables, they push them together, and then they arbitrarily capitalize any letter they feel like capitalizing. And now they started putting punctuation marks in the name. What? Let me tell you how Shandwella Mama spell her name. Y'all got to follow me, okay? You ready? Capital S-H-A hyphen capital D-W @ asterisk I-L apostrophe A-H. Exactly. I looked at the roster. I said, baby, is this your name or your mama computer password? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to memorize this by June. I'm just telling you. It's not going to work out. And then these are the parents who are always complaining that their kids don't win Student of the Month. Really? Ma'am, you think I got that kind of time that I'm going to sit here and try to type this out on a certificate? I got a vision board. This is not a priority to me. You see what I'm saying? And listen, y'all, my Student of the Month be just like this every ceremony. And thank you, parents, for coming in our Student of the Month, Ms. Gaines' class, for the 7th time. Give it up for Tim. Yes, come on up here, little buddy. This is for you, absolutely. Then they gonna complain about me, talking about, Ms. Gaines, Tim won Student of the Month 9 times. That's not fair. I said, hey, you know, he's a good kid. They were like, well, he was absent 19 times. I was like, hey, that's called consistency. And I honor that.